welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in the Follow a Sketch February put on by Sandy Reversky. Her YouTube channel is called State Goddess and her Facebook group is Scrapping Reflections. So today I'm working on the sketch for February 26th and I'm spraying some Frosty Mint Mica Mist on some mixed media paper. This is the first time I've used this bottle, and so there's getting to be some large drops on the paper. And it actually took quite a long time to dry, and I had to blot up those big spots. For the layout, I'm using 2 pieces of paper from Bo Bunny, and it's the Pincushion collection that was from 2013. So I'm gutting out 1 piece of paper, and I'll use this for my frame on my layout. And I'm just using my whiskers to do that, and I believe I did about 1.5 inches all the way around. I'll put the sketch up on the screen so you can see what I'm working on. And this sketch came from Anna Castro from AnnaRubicastroblogspot.com. The photos I'm scrapbooking are some photos I have of a girl that I'm making a photo album for. She lives in Mexico, so I've only met her once. She's a girl that I sponsor, or I used to sponsor, but she's grown up, so I'm giving her this photo album so that she'll have some pictures of her childhood. I think I got this paper when we went to the scrapbook store in Sevierville, Tennessee, and they had, one of them was an outlet where they had old stuff that was for sale, so I think that's where I got this. In any case, I picked it up because I do quilting and other sewing hobbies, so I thought this might look good with that. But the picture I have is of the girl that I'm giving this to. She was making tassels, and it shows some of the other girls she lived with making some tassels. So I thought this would look really good with that. On the back side of this pattern paper, it had all kinds of different elements, and so that's one of the reasons I chose this paper, because it has this little border that kind of is similar to the one that is in the middle of the sketch, and I won't even have to create a bunting or border like it has there. So I'm just going to cut out that strip, and it already looks layered. And then I also cut out the little area next to it that looks like it's a journaling area with tags. So I won't have to build up tags and journaling either. I do choose to leave that blank. I'm going to give the girl some micron pens so she can add her own journaling. Because first of all, Spanish was her first language, which I'm not fluent in Spanish. And some of these photos I got from pictures she sent, or the home that she lived in kind of posted on the newsletters. So I printed them out so she would have some photos of her childhood. And anyway, so I don't know much about it other than she was making tassels. I matted my photos on some coral colored cardstock, and I just put some post-it tape over the faces of the people in the photos to protect their identities. Now, I've seen people do this technique before, but I don't think I've ever used it, and that's where you just put all the elements together in one big piece. So I'm going to be using some Nuvo Deluxe glue to attach my photos and those papers that I had cut out. I add some double-sided adhesive all the way around the back of this, so then I can add it to my layout as one big piece. And that way I can use it to judge where I'm going to put my mixed media. It looks like on the layout that there's some ink on the area on the right-hand side of the bunting, and that looks like it's put on with the packaging technique. I put my photo cluster down on the layout so I know where that's going to lie, and I move it a little bit to the right and put a pencil mark down so I know where I want to do the ink. And I moved it over a little bit so that my cluster will cover up the pencil mark when I finish doing the inking. For my ink smushing, I'm going to use some Saltwater Taffy Distress ink. And since I don't have an ink bottle of it, I'm just going to smear my ink pad on my work surface and add some water. I used to have a spray bottle, but it fell off my table one day and it cracked open. So I just put some water in a cup and I'm just using a brush. And for the packaging technique, all you do is take some old packaging, which we always have, and dip it into your ink. Now, one thing I found is if you wad it up, that helps so that you don't have the outside edge with the ink. Otherwise, you'll just get straight lines. Now, I'm showing you a couple different ways to do mixed media just using ink. The first one was Mica stain, and this one is Distress ink, but you can use whatever you have. And if you want to get into it, but don't have much money, the Distress ink does come in mini stamp pads, and those are an economical way to start collecting inks. Then I add some double-sided tape to the back of my mixed media paper, peel off the backing paper, and put that on the frame that I cut out in the first step. I'll put a list of all the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and that helps support my channel. As I mentioned earlier, this is part of Follow Sketch February, so you can go to Scrapping Reflections on Facebook to get the sketches. If you're not already a member, just type in Scrapping Reflections, and then you can ask to join, and you'll be able to find the images of all the sketches. Now, if you have a YouTube channel, you can create videos and post those on the playlist. If you don't, you can just take a picture of the scrapbook pages that you make and post them on her Facebook page. As I mentioned before, this is part of Follow Sketch February. It has a playlist, so I'll put the playlist at the end of this video and also in the description below. You can follow along and see what other creators did with the same sketch and also what I and other creators did with other sketches. Now, I've only done 7 of them because I didn't have time to make that many videos since I have a full-time job, and also I work overtime because I work in our after-school program at school because, of course, they have trouble hiring enough people to do that. Plus, I could use some extra money. So anyway, hop along and see how different people interpreted the sketch. You'll see how you can change up the different papers you use, the size of the photos. On this one, I pretty much stuck to the sketch, but my one photo is smaller than it is. However, I think my 4x6 one is probably larger than the sketch. Finally, I'm going to add this embellishment that I had in my embellishment binder. I just keep things that I've cut out extra or I've made ahead of time. And this particular one someone made, and I did a swap with Ginger's Corner. I think this was for a camera themed one, but I thought it went pretty good with this layout, so I'm going to add this. Now in the sketch there's 2 butterflies that kind of form a diagonal line if you look from one butterfly to the other, so that's why I thought it would look good up in the right hand corner. Now the embellishment didn't have a name on the back, so I don't know who created it. So if you're watching and you created it, thank you so much. I found a photo layout where it goes perfectly. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a wonderful day.